Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all of that. Hi. I'm combining most surprising and most disappointing because I only had like 5 books that really surprised me. My most surprising book of the year is a book that I read for a fun video thing I was doing where I was reading My Lost Meal. And this is Together Tea by Marjan Kamali. This is a general fiction slash historical fiction set in the 90s about a US American Iranian family told through the perspective of the women of the family, the daughter, a woman in her 20s, and the mother who wants to set her daughter up. This surprised me so much because I'm not a general fiction, historical fiction girl. I love plot. I love a good plot and I like for the story to be driving itself and this is very much character driven. I also liked how it was fun. I have my own conception of what like women's fiction and general fiction and literary fiction is in general. It's just misery because it feels like people take misery and sadness and all of the bad things about being human, they take that more seriously. They think that's more deep than the good stuff, but this was fun. It was goofy, it was lighthearted, there were some very serious moments, some very serious subject matter. I am not gonna lie, I did skip the entirety of part 2, which was set in the late 70s during the revolution. That was just too far back for me. But I had such a great time. I had so much affection for these characters to the point where I was crying at the end. Like, oh my god, tears of joy. I loved the people in this book so much. It was so relatable in specific ways. Fantastic book. Another book that surprised me, I have not spoken about this one, is a book called My Sweet Revenge. This is also women's fiction, but I think people would class this more as chick lit, whatever that is. What is the difference? I don't know. I think women's fiction is more serious and dour and it's about women being sad and miserable. I think chick lit is kind of more lighthearted. It's misery with wine, I guess. This was kind of that, but it was so much fun. This is such a messy book. This is a very Bridget Jones's Diary type of book. It read very much like books from that era. It's also set in Britain, but there was something honest about it in the messiness. This main character and her thoughts. This book was so messy. So this is about a woman who finds out that her husband is having an affair and she's like, I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna make him fall back in love with me and then leave him so that it hurts when that happens. And a lot of things happen. At a certain point, I'm like, oh my god, let this go, reconsider. This is just messy chick lit fun. There's like a lot of wine with and without an H. Just suspend your disbelief and go along with this woman and her insane plans. And you're like, girl, reconsider, but like, go on. Another book that surprised me is Secrets of the Wolf. This is a book from the late 90s. I was not expecting to enjoy this book from the 90s as much as I did because, with romance novels, you can't go back. You can't read a romance novel from the 2000s. Even like 2009, you're like, it might not be that bad. It is. It's bad. And it gets worse the further back you go. They get more and more rapey until they come back around to like Jane Austen, who is, unmatched. But anyway, this is a story about a woman's uncle dies and a lot of weird things happen. There's like a whole secret society and she meets a man and he's mysterious. He has a secret and it's like, girl, I wonder if you can guess what the secret is that he has. Like just based on the name of the book, Secrets of the Wolf, and the book cover itself. I wonder if you can guess. But that was not why I enjoyed this. The romance was the weakest part of this book. It wasn't that good. They barely have any scenes together. They have no chemistry at all. But it doesn't matter. What was good was the world building. The story was good. Those were the things that were great. But my favorite things about this book were just how progressive they are. This book is more progressive than the books that get released today. Like I firmly, my conspiracy theory is that modern romance novels are a psyop from the CIA. I'm not even kidding. I feel like I really believe this. I'm not a conspiracy theory person, but anytime I pick up a romance novel, I'm like, no, the messaging, the marketing in these romance novels, psyop. Like somebody's doing work behind the scenes. The CIA is doing work behind the scenes to get the girls off feminism. That's what I think is that's what I think is happening. Anyway, this book was so progressive. I like how any woman that she meets, they're like friends or neutral. There was no like weird catchiness. The ancient civilization in this book is egalitarian. Women are safe, can do whatever they want, they can get divorced. I was like, what? This was written in the 90s in terms of like this being a romance, whatever. But everything else was good. It's like with Beverly Jenkins books. The romance is the weakest part. Everything else is amazing. I'm a big old fish in the pond and Beverly Jenkins is standing over with her little fishing pole and the lure on the hook is a romance and then she gets you like, surprise bitch, you're reading a really good historical fiction. I think that's what this was. This was just like a fun would it be an urban fantasy? I don't know. Just a fun like little fantasy ancient civilization action book with like a little bit of romance sprinkled in. Also, it wasn't rapey, which oh my god, wow, for the 90s, wow. And then finally, the last two books. I'm grouping these together because these are both graphic novels, and this is Wash Day Diaries and Garlic and Vampire. Wash Day Diaries reminded me of the show Insecure. It made me it hit those same feelings that the show Insecure used to give me, and I miss that. Just it's about black sisterhood. Garlic and Vampire is an all ages book about essentially a garlic who has to slay a vampire, possibly. it's cute and sweet. Both of these books surprised me because I didn't think I liked graphic novels, which is ridiculous because I love art. Like I go to art galleries and museums just to look at art for fun. Like I look at paintings and drawings and sculptures for fun. Like I enjoy that. So it's weird that I would think that I wouldn't like graphic novels, but I realized in reading this that it depends on the art and it depends on the type of graphic novel. I like really just sweet, charming, poignant, light stories that are also light on the dialogue and like narration, I guess. I like for the art to do most of the talking. Like look at this painting, look at the expressions, look at everyone's body language and how desperate everybody is. This says so much just by being. Now imagine if this was full of speech bubbles. I'm also picky about the type of art I like in graphic novels. I don't really like the art style in manga. I don't like how harsh some of the lines are and sharp the features are. It's just not for me. I like softness and roundness in my art. I don't know if any of that is making sense. So those are the most surprising books, and you can see what they have in common. I came in with my own expectations about what they would be, and they were completely different, or I painted everything within a specific genre or subgenre the same brush. I just needed to find the specific things that I like. Going forward, will I pick up more women's fiction and chick lit and paranormal romance and graphic novels? Graphic novels, yes. Women's fiction and chick lit, maybe, kind of, depending. It has to not be miserable. It cannot just be about a woman who is sad because the husband is like not helping or whatever. It's like a bad guy or whatever. It can't just be that. If it's funny, yes. Paranormal romance, I kind of went through a paranormal romance phase after this book, and like I'm over it. They're all the same. It's all the same thing. I can't. And now for the most disappointing books. Number one disappointing book is literally all of the 2023 releases. What is going on? Is it just me and the genres that I read, specifically science fiction, or were the books this year just like not anything special? Ooh, birdie. It's really, oh, bye. Well, okay. Or it was just nothing special. I feel like the horror girls got the good books this year. This might just be the grass is greener on the other side type of thing. I don't know. I don't read horror. My god, I cannot name a singular science fiction book that came out this year that I was like, whoa, this is so good. This is amazing. Also, what is with the series? Do publishers just make more money if everything is a trilogy? You know, and then there's Martha Wells. How long is she gonna milk that murder pot thing? Is there an end? Martha Wells is just catching a stray in this for no reason. I don't even know if she released another murder pot book this year, but I'm just like what is happening? I just want a good standalone book. Is that too much to ask for? Every book is either the first in a series or the first in a trilogy, or it's the 6th or the 8th. Yeah, what is happening? Also, everything leans more mundane and literary these days. There's no just like fun plot focused, just genre fiction, just a good genre fiction sci-fi book, you know, premise focused with like interesting technology or a look into an interesting alien civilization or exobiology or physics. Is it just me? Am I just not finding the books? That's what was disappointing this year. Every single science fiction book released this year. Also, where are all of the aliens? Are we too good for aliens now? Is science fiction too good for aliens now? Then there's romance and the current romantic trends, which are currently being driven by like the average Western young adult TikTok user. So everything is enemies to lovers or grumpy sunshine, or the guy is always the grump. Or you get like weird dark romance stuff that you should all probably be going to therapy for. What is happening? I feel like I'm going insane. Do you see what I mean about romance novels being a psyop? Someone at the CIA was like, guys, do you know what we should do? These women are complaining about sexual violence and sexual assault, and they expect men to actually develop emotional intelligence and expecting equal partnerships. Their expectations are too high, and if things continue this way, we're going to be saddled with a lot of dangerous single men, and we've seen that happen in other places in the world, and that's like, it's never good for a society when you just have a lot of single men running around. So instead of culturally all of us raising boys better so that they're not psychopaths, we should convince the girls that they actually love it, that it's actually cute and sexy and fun when men are like weirdos. That's what I think happened. I think this is a legit conversation that happened in the USA in a CIA building. 100%. You cannot convince me otherwise, because what is happening? And then when you say something, it's like, oh, no kink shaming. Oh, like, what are you talking? Some kinks need to be shamed. And also, have you ever read the synopsis of a romance novel and then you go on over the Goodreads and you read some of the reviews and you see someone leave a 1-star review? 1 star. The book was cute, but there was no spice. Sad face. What? Huh? What's happening? What is going on? What is going on? I feel like I'm getting older every day. Anyway, the good thing about this is that there are so many books in existence. So many, like endless. You will never read every single book that has ever been published traditionally or otherwise. That's what I did most of this year. I read a lot of older books. I think the sweet spot for me is the mid to late 2010s. That's like for every genre, across genres. That's like, that's like, yeah. The 2010s in general, but especially the late 2010s, that's where all the good shit is for me personally. But yeah, it's rough. It was rough this year. Is it just me? Let me know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it was the genres that I read. Maybe it's just me, straight up. Maybe it's just my taste. Anyway, that's this video. Check out my best of the year video and my worst of the year video, and have a great rest of 2023 and have a great 2024. We'll see each other next year. Hopefully the books will be better than they were this year. I don't count on it. I think just in general everything is getting worse. Bye. What I really want though is for an asteroid to come and kill us all.